Everybody, friend, got a minute? Welcome to the Women's Spotlight, Her Light, Her Story, a space where we celebrate women leaders, entrepreneurs, and creatives who are showing up with courage, purpose, and authenticity. I'm your host, Tiffany, and in each episode, we shine a light on her story, the journey behind the titles, the challenges, and the victories. Today, I'm so excited to introduce you to Lisa Nicole Bluitt. She is the founder and travel advisor of Holistic Luxury Travel Club. And in our conversation, we're going to go and learn a little bit more about Lisa's story and how she shines light on her purpose. So before we go into it, I do want to say that this is a very special time I'm
Mhm.
spending with a family member today. So I'm going to point that out that Lisa is married to one of my cousins. And so we are also family members. So let's grab our favorite drink, whether that's a coffee or a tea, and let's step in. I see you have yours, and I have mine right here. So let's step in to the spotlight together with Lisa. So, how are you today, Lisa? And we are so glad that you're here with us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Tiffany. It's a beautiful day. The
Mm.
sun is shining. I woke up this morning. Everything is great. I'm having an amazing morning. And I get to share it with
Okay.
you. So I'm excited.
Well, I'm glad. I'm excited as well. So, let's talk a little bit about who Lisa is. And I'm going to say Lisa Nicole Bullitt. Blue, I said it again. Blew it. I'm going to just go with it. Blew it. So, who is Lisa Nicole Bluitt beyond the titles and the roles?
Okay. Yes, I am a mother.
Okay.
I am an entrepreneur. I am, I like to say, I say it like a here, but I'm a listener.
Okay. Okay.
um, for the most part, I'm a wife,
Hmm.
wife of 22 years. I have two beautiful and now adult daughters,
Yes,
18
they're
and
very
21
beautiful
years
girls.
old.
Yes.
I'm
Hmm.
very proud of the fact that I was able to raise, children to adulthood, and they are absolutely amazing.
Okay.
I was in IT for many, many, many years. So I've lived that corporate life and had
Hmm.
that structure.
Hmm.
I'm an entrepreneur, like I said, and that journey, we're gonna get into that. That's been an
Hmm.
amazing journey. But I'm a leader, and hopefully, I'm here for my community and I love to serve. So that's Lisa in a
Yes.
nutshell.
Yes, you are a very bright light, Lisa. And I do want to say, I think I kind of talked over you when you were saying um, the ages of your daughters because I was saying they are beautiful. So tell what their ages again?
They are 18 and 21.
Oh,
I
wow. I
can't
remember
believe it.
seeing them when they were little girls. So,
I
you know,
know.
I've seen them over the years growing up, but I just remember, it doesn't take long for them to look like they
Mhm.
just sprout up like that. So, thank you for sharing that with us. So,
Yeah.
every woman leads in her own way. What's the heartbeat behind how you show up as a leader, whether that's in your home,
Mhm.
in your work, or as an entrepreneur, and then or in your community?
Right. So I want to say, like, I know that some of the best leaders are some of the ones that don't really seek the role. And that's kind of me, right?
Hmm.
I've been told that I'm like a natural born leader, but how I normally show up is basically I just I just I jump in, I dive in, I learn what I need to learn, right?
Hmm.
And I have no problem sharing my knowledge to help build others up, right?
Right.
I'm not going to be the one that said I know it all. No, I don't, right? But I like to try to identify the strengths in others and
Hmm.
help build that in them, whether it's encouragement, support. That's what drives me to show up as a leader. So like I said, sometimes I don't always seek it. It falls in my lap because people look to me to help them along, encourage them along, and I have no problem filling that role. So
Okay. Well, that's great to hear. And I'm apologizing again. My cat ran in here. I don't know if you heard her.
I see
Okay.
it.
And she was starting to make noise and I snapped at her and she ran out. So she does know what that means. So she
She can join us too. Come on.
Well, she, hey, it's a women's space, so she might think, "Hey, I'm a female. Where am I in
Mhm.
this?" So, so again, I apologize, but yes, that is so great to hear you saying that, and it is very important because many times, that's her again. This time she's jumped in the window, so I apologize. Um, But a lot of times as women, we just naturally, like you say, are leaders and we take that role, even if we don't necessarily feel that we are a leader, we take that role. But as long as I've known you and just knowing the different things that you are involved with, I do know that you have that leadership ability and just the way to connect with people. So I'm honored to, be on life's journey with you. So, one other question I do have is what inspires you to just keep showing up even when the days are hard?
I will say, over the years, it's mostly the responsibility that I had to those little ones, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. You when you're responsible for others, you can't really take too many days off, right? Yes, you
Hmm.
do need it for your self-care, but what keeps me going is the fact that I have others that are looking up to me, right?
Okay. Mhm.
Um, and I want to set the best example that I can for them. That's probably why my work ethic is the way it is. And it's like you just keep one foot in front of the other. You keep driving forward to just accomplish your goals and your dreams, and just to know that you got somebody else that's watching you.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then you want to make sure that they have a great example. So.
Okay. Well, I know that they did and they still do. So thank you for bringing that up. That's such a powerful point when we are mothers, especially, I mean, of no matter what our gender of our children are,
Mhm.
but it's just something about when you know that their daughters, and they're going to grow into a young lady that's going to
Mhm.
have some similar experiences that we have if they decide to marry and have children and have a career path. So I was thinking about that with my daughter yesterday. I was spending some time with her, and I have a grandbaby now. I think I heard her say, I know she's 2 months, and she's 2 months, but I heard my daughter say something like yesterday she was so many days, I can't remember, and I was like, wow, those days just go by really fast. And so then I was thinking, I said, the conversations that I have with my daughter, I was imagining that she's going to one day have that something similar with her daughter. So I'm so glad that you brought that up about being a leader to our children, because I believe that's probably one the best and the most rewarding role in our leadership journey is to provide that for our daughters. So thank you so much for sharing that. So let's just shift a bit and talk about self-care. And we know you look like you're excited about
Yeah, that's
that.
my favorite topic.
So yay, it's our favorite topic. And yes, I do know that because you've had, and I know you're going to get to that, but you've had some businesses that revolve around wellness. So self-care looks different for every woman. So how do you protect your energy when life gets overwhelming?
Right. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't always the one that would, set my boundaries and say no. So now going forward, I'm recognizing when I need a break, when I'm overwhelmed, it's time to take a step back. It's time to say,
Mhm.
"Oop, hold on, no, we can't do XYZ," So that's what helped keeps me from being as overwhelmed as I had in the past.
Mhm.
It's just knowing, listening to your body and knowing when it's time to kind of sit down and take a break.
Mhm. Yeah.
It is what it is. So.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for that. And
Mhm.
so, what helps you to reset when you feel like you're running on empty? So, when you kind of answer that question, if you kind of want to go into like
Mhm.
what your business is and how it does help with your self-care, you can go right in and talk about it right there if you'd like.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so self-care, I'm gonna tell you, travel.
Hmm. Of
Travel
course, we
I
see
use as
it.
a form of self-care. Sometimes it is just good to go into a different area, different space, see a different culture, experience something outside of your normal day to day.
Hmm.
So travel, I always used as a form of self-care when you needed that break. And
Hmm.
so me working in corporate, I looked forward to any vacation or travel plans that I made. So that's how I was able to, download the brain, because being
Mhm.
in IT, our brains are always on, right? And even sometimes on vacation, they didn't always give you an opportunity to kind of download, especially in IT like me, and you might be on call, something happens while you're gone.
Oh.
Sometimes you had to kind of tap in, right? But
Mhm.
I always use travel as a form of self-care because you had something to look forward to that wasn't
Yes.
the everyday, right?
Yes.
I'm also big on yoga.
Mhm.
So, now that helps, yoga helps stretch my body out, help regulate my nervous system,
Mhm.
breath work, well, I want to shout out to my yoga instructor, Dina. I love her so much. Actually, I just found her, but she has been absolutely amazing. I do a lot of breath work and mindful meditation now.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, your brain is my brain, and especially type A personality. It's going, going, going. And sometimes if I don't, I have to force myself to take a break sometimes, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so mindful meditation and breath work gives me the opportunity to kind of just calm all the voices, slow everything down, relax the body, actually taking some air, breathing, right?
Mhm.
Letting that stress go. I'm
Mhm.
finding myself doing that more and more often. And it helps clear my mind and
Mhm.
clear everything. So
Mhm.
that's part of my self-care. And I do exercise.
Mhm.
Um, I wasn't always, I'm married to a personal trainer, but I
Mhm.
wasn't always out there training, right? I always
Mhm.
sometimes found an excuse, but now, especially now that I'm a little bit older, I'm finding that, I'm starting to crave making sure that I get my workouts in. So I do
Mhm.
strength training because you do have to maintain your muscle mass,
Mhm.
especially as
Right.
ladies, the older you get, right?
Mhm.
So I crave now going to get my strength training done. So I do that. At least I aim for 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes five, but you get in what you can. You don't beat
Mhm.
yourself up and you make sure you get your exercise in. That just helps with your energy,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So those are the gotta add one more thing.
Yes, yes.
I love my spa days.
Uh-huh.
Okay. When I travel, when I go into wellness, I'm always looking for this. I'm always looking at the type of spa that they have,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Whether you get a massage, you get some mud wraps, even just a facial every now and then. I love my spa days. When you're at home, though, there's a place that I love to go to called Spa Castle. It's an all day sauna. You can go in there, you can have access to all the saunas, all the whirlpools, all the baths. And when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I just need a kind of quick break while I'm home.
Mhm.
I'd go
Mhm.
there. I think it's closed
Oh.
right now, but
Mhm.
when they open back up, I'll definitely be knocking on their door.
Well,
To
thank
show
you for
them.
all of those tips and just listening to what you do. Like you stated, it's so important to be able to feel that you are resetting yourself. I think of it like a battery on our phone. If we don't charge that phone up, then it's not going to work. So we can't do our best in any role that we have, including a mother, if we're, too stressed out and not being able to take care of ourselves first. So I'm so glad to hear that you do a lot of me time.
Yes, ma'am.
Love that. So, is there a time that you can share with us that you might have had a situation that you had to rise back from, being resilient and bouncing back that was a challenge? And what anchored you in that particular season?
Okay, so I guess there's been a couple of things in my life where I felt like I had to bounce back. I'll say, like, towards the end of my corporate career.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right before I said, you know what, it's time to switch and do something different. I guess the project that I was really working on that took quite a bit out of me. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize how much I was giving and giving with very little return and not necessarily taking the best care of myself because
Mm-hmm.
when you're kind of in a service role and people are relying on you and things just are not going according to plan or it's just
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot. then, I felt that, at that time, I was kind of losing myself in that, right?
Mhm.
So I said, how I bounce back, number one, I quit my job.
Okay.
There's a caveat, and it was one of those situations where it's like, oh, I got the message from the higher ups that you can't take a vacation until XYZ is done. I was like, wait a minute, as
Mhm.
much
Yeah.
as I'm doing, as much as I'm doing and performing and making sure that's not going to work for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Right,
I
right.
had to I had to recognize then, after, discussions with my husband, and we were in actually a good, decent financial place to be able to
Mhm.
say, okay, this is no longer healthy for me, and it is
Mhm.
time to kind of move on. I've came and I've conquered and I've done what I can do, but
Mhm.
now it's time to take care of myself. And so bouncing back, that's when I started my businesses. Yes, I did kind of take a break for a little bit to get my mind back. We went to an
Mhm.
amazing trip to Barcelona where we went there to Barcelona, spent a couple of days. We did a cruise there. We got to see multiple different destinations that, I had on my bucket list, so I
Mhm.
kind of had to just kind of reset that.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then I started my travel business, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
And I started pouring myself into that. So, that experience in corporate, you work so hard. And if you can work so hard for other people,
Mhm.
imagine what you can do for yourself.
Love
And
that.
so that's what kind of got me going, right?
Mhm.
And that's what helped me move forward. And here we
Mhm.
are.
There we are. That's right. So, do you want to say anything about your travel business? As since we're kind of talking about that, we see the beautiful background. I was going to ask you to show us what your t-shirt says because it looked like it had. Did I see
Okay.
something about travel on
No,
it?
look, this
Oh,
is this is
oh,
my t-shirt, food and travel bougie. You
uh-huh.
actually can get these on from my website. I do have
Okay.
a little shop.
Okay.
Holistic,
I love
but
that.
my business, Holistic Luxury Travel Club, we are a full service boutique travel agency. Listen,
Mhm.
I will send you wherever you want to go, but our focus really is on international and domestic wellness retreats, all inclusive, cruises, vacations, things for couples. I really do focus on making sure that whatever experience I create for my clients, it's based in what makes you whole, right?
Mhm.
That's the Holistic Luxury Travel
Right. That's
Club was
right.
based out of that.
Mhm.
So, I love taking in and knowing my clients well enough so I know where I want to send you, or even if you even have a clue, if you have an idea, that's great. I'm going to make sure that, your flights are covered. I try to put everything in a package. Your flights are covered, your ground transportation, and I'm a big stickler. I'm not going to send you anywhere I wouldn't go.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna make sure when you're traveling internationally, especially, if I can kind of convince you to upgrade your service, get that private transportation, get that where get that service where they have when you arrive, you have your name on your placard, so you know exactly
Mhm.
where you're going, right?
Mhm.
It gets you to point A, gets you to your hotel, your resort, gets you to your excursions. I love to introduce that to my clients. But that's my business. Hey,
Mhm.
like I said, I will send you wherever you want to go, but I will also give you the best suggestions.
Mhm.
Make
Yeah.
sure you get there safely and soundly. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with us as
Mhm.
well. One other question before we move into the latter part of our discussion, but you've already told us a lot about the practices and the routines that you use, but I think it's important too to understand the mindset um, of what kind of helps you to be able to bounce back, what helps you to know that you need to take some time for yourself. Is there a particular, I know you told us the physical, what you do for your body, and even hearing some of the spiritual with the meditation.
Mhm.
Is there something that you can tell a woman who might be stretching herself so thin, what kind of mindset to keep, especially I wanted to say, when you are in corporate, or you are, like in my instance, I worked in education, still a business, of course, but sometimes you don't have you can't, you may not be in a financial situation that you can quit, but you're still having to go in and kind of deal with those things. Is there a particular mindset that you might be able to share with our listeners, just to kind of help them to realize, if you may not be able to move out right now, but this is a mindset that you can kind of use as you're in this space at this time of your life?
Right. It's important to remain positive as much
Mm-hmm.
as possible, right? I know
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we look at our situation, we're not quite sure what can happen. You just have to stay positive and full of faith.
Mm-hmm.
Keep moving forward, right? It's okay to take a break. It's okay to not have all the answers,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I typically make sure that, hey, if you need to take that break, that's quick. That's great. Don't stay there. Don't stay
Right.
there.
Right.
Eventually, you're going to have to pull yourself up, pull yourself together, and keep
Oh.
moving forward. There's
Mm-hmm.
always light in the end of the tunnel. I can honestly say that, even looking back, in the beginning of my career, the dreams and goals that I had, the things that I wanted to do, wasn't quite sure how it was going to happen. But guess what?
Mm-hmm.
It happened. It
Mm-hmm.
all comes true, and you just have to keep moving forward. Stay positive. And I know it's difficult. You got
Mm-hmm.
people in your ear
Mm-hmm.
telling you you don't have all the support that you think you need, right? You have to kind of quiet those naysayers and
Mm-hmm.
keep going. Just keep
Mm-hmm.
going. Stay positive. Stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
Rely on the people that you know are
Mm-hmm.
supporting
Right.
you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the best advice I can give. And like I say, it's easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier said than done, but remain positive. Keep your faith that everything will work out, because in my experience, it always does. You always have what you need, right?
Exactly. And I'm so glad it kind of went right into the question I was just about to ask. So I don't even have to really, I'll mention it, but I don't really have to even get a response from it, because you went right into it. Where, if you had advice to give a lady who felt like her light was dimming, and it's pretty much the same thing what we're just talking about. If you're in a situation where it may not be ideal, but you need a mind set shift, how would you do that? And so that just went
Mhm.
beautifully into that question. So I thank you for your response there. So if you could tell your younger self one
Mhm.
thing, what would it be?
I would tell her, listen, continue to be that shy, quirky, weird self. Okay. The one that I was always the one that I don't really fit in anywhere. But the things that make you unique,
Mm-hmm.
Lisa, talking to her,
Mm-hmm.
things that make you unique are the things that people will love about you, and you will find your tribe.
You're
You
right.
will find them. You will find the people that are in your circle that will support you and build you up. And
Yes.
sometimes it feels lonely because it's like I
Mm-hmm.
don't fit in. I'm a little different.
Yeah.
I'm a little shy, and
Mm-hmm.
very introverted.
Mm-hmm.
But could continue to be your authentic self, and you
Mm-hmm.
will find your tribe.
That's beautiful. Really is. Thank you so much. So now that we've talked a little bit about getting to know you, your journey, you talked about your business. Can you tell our listeners, if they would like to get in contact with you, sharing any information with them in order to be able to find you online?
Absolutely. Okay,
Mhm.
so you can always visit my website at holisticluxurytravelclub.com. From there, if you are looking to do a trip or a cruise, I have forms on my site that you can fill out that will reach me, that I can start researching to create a trip for you. Of
Mhm.
course, you can reach me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Holistic
Okay.
Luxury Travel Club.
Okay.
That way, you can definitely find me there. Send me a DM. give me a little shout out of my
Okay.
stories and things, to
Yes.
help build my community up. But
Okay.
that's where you can find me. I'd love to have you all.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And we, of course, see the QR code that you have in your background as well. So just thank you again for just your bright light, your wonderful spirit, and sharing this time with us. So I want to tell everyone thank you for joining the Women's Spotlight, Her Light, Her Story. I hope today's conversation with Lisa Nicole Bluitt inspired you to shine your light and walk confidently in your own story. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with a friend, and join me next time as we continue to celebrate the incredible journeys of women like you. Until then, keep showing up, keep growing, keep shining. See you next time, my lady friend. Thanks again, Lisa.
All right. Thank you so much for having me,
You're
Tiffany.
welcome.